thank you for going with that last song. It's like, oh, looks like some words didn't quite make it in on the printout, but thank you so much. So several weeks ago, I woke up in the middle of the night and I had this phrase running through my head. Windows into your soul. I wrote it down, went back to sleep. And the next day I started thinking about it, and of course my husband's always asking me, what did you dream about last night? He's always, I always get these things, right? So I told him, and he's just looking at me, said, I have no idea, don't know what it means, what it's about, and then I start Googling it, right? That's what I do. So the first thing that came up was a reference to a book, Windows into Your Soul, Surveillance and Society in the Age of High Technology. So that's what I did prior to retirement. So I was kind of intrigued, but I'm like, I didn't feel like that's what this was about. So then I look in our little blue book, Becoming a Spiritualist, and I found this right off. A poet has said there should be many windows to your soul, and that the pain of one creed cannot catch all the scintillation from the throne of God. The world should be broad, liberal, tolerant, and should accept truth wherever found. I looked further into that statement because they just reference a poet. They don't say who, so I needed to know. And it was Ella Wheeler Wilcox, who was a spiritualist. And you may recall another one of her quotes, laugh and the world laughs with you, weep and you weep alone. For the sad old earth must borrow its mirth, but has trouble enough of its own. So I continued to sit with this phrase because it still wasn't quite ringing true to me what to do. And I felt the nudge of spirit. And it's what I should be speaking about. It seemed to fit with what we've been talking about in our development circles. And we're all duality, right? We're physical as well as spiritual. And by fine-tuning our physical senses, it helps sharpen our spirit side, our psychical senses. I attended a conference many years ago, and the presenter used this as an example. He took something we see nearly daily, if not daily, and have for many years. But could you describe it to someone who has never seen it before? Pull it out. The dollar bill, right? So think about it in your mind. Who's pictured on it? Just the $1 bill. How many number ones are on the face? How many times is the word one written out? What are the different codes? And that's just the front without going to the back. But again, trying to, you see something every day, but could you really describe it? Do you really see it? See it. So it's all about practice. And we talk about that certainly in our development circles. It's all about practice. The more we sharpen our senses, it becomes second nature, and then you don't have to think about it. But for now, you really focus on sharpening your senses. When you see someone on the street, or just through the course of your day, really look at them. What color eyes do they have? Take them in as a whole. What's the color of their shoes? And the same goes with all our other senses. Take a moment just now and listen. Can you identify 3 distinct, separate sounds? And then the sense of smell. What smells come to you? The sense of taste. Feelings, any sensations that come over you, whether you're warm or cold, tingly. Are you feeling joyful? So the next reference I found was from the NSAC Spiritualist Manual, actually, the 12th edition, and on soul. Soul is the connecting link between the spirit and the material form of the individual. It is the spiritual body of the individual that is necessary for the spirit to function through its various modes of motion. At the time of physical death, the spirit and soul withdraw from the physical form, and the soul becomes the vehicle of expression, the body of the spirit throughout eternity. The soul is the real self, the thinking and feeling entity, the distinct individuality, the personality that goes on learning and becoming more and more unfolded and refined all through life and in the advancing stages beyond. The individual soul is the crown and glory of cosmic life. It is the seat of all thinking, all memory, all impulses, all inspirations, all loves and hates, is the immortal and is capable of unlimited unfoldment. I was very fortunate recently to be afforded an opportunity to attend a presentation by Robin Wall Kimmerer. She's a mother, scientist, decorated professor, an enrolled member of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation. She is the author of Braiding Sweetgrass, Indigenous Wisdom, Scientific Knowledge and the Teachings of Plants, and Gathering Moss, a Natural and Cultural History of Mosses. It's that first book, Gathering Moss, that I want to reference. She spent decades studying moss and speaks of moss as her teachers. We are all beings, including the land and all that it provides. We are all community. The plants are the ones that really know. We need to discern what the plants are bringing to us. We really need to listen to what they offer. And as she says, it's not supernatural, it's totally natural. Our intuitive muscles have atrophied, and we forgot how to listen to the birds, to the plants. Today we don't understand it, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And I loved her analogy. In reference to that, she talked about gravity. Gravity existed long before Newton gave it a name. Our human capacity to pay attention is inborn. Our capacities to distinguish from benefit, from harm, we have those facilities. They've been hijacked by cultural interventions, but they're there. Our abilities to discern are still there. There's unlearning that needs to happen. So listen to the teachings of the land. Just pay attention. That all comes back to sharpening your senses. Robin's thoughts on healing reciprocity is we find solutions to the ecosystem challenges, as we know we can't take without giving. She speaks of not just knowing something, but feeling something. Feel love for the world. Feel love from the world. I care for you, and therefore I will take care of you. Love from the earth. We call her Mother Earth for a very good reason. She feeds us, and she is always caring for us. We have that responsibility to continue life. The more we love, the more we pay attention. It's very attentive and active love. So the first step to falling in love with the world is be present. Go outside. Be open, attentive, and loving. Putting your hands in the earth. Plant something. Eat something. Feel that connection eating a vegetable or fruit right off the vine. Goosebumps. How lucky we are. You just go outside, listen, see, smell, and really feel what's around you. Work on being fully present. We often take so much for granted and miss the little things in life that can mean so much. The little rabbit grazing in the yard, or seeing who came to your window. Was it a cardinal or other bird that may have been so meaningful to someone in your life while they were here on the earth plane and have now since crossed over? Sometimes a bird is just a bird, but sometimes it's a messenger. Don't miss out on the opportunity to say hello to whoever came by. It still amazes me and really just fills me with so much gratitude how these pieces of information come to me. Everything I spoke of today came over the last few weeks. The topic of the presentation came to me in the middle of the night. At that time, I reached out to get added to the calendar and just trusted that the rest would unfold. I knew it would happen. The opening invocation, for example, the prayer, it's of Chief Yellowlark of the Lakota tribe. I just found that on Facebook on Thursday night from one of my friends posting, and it just so resonated and knew I had to use it. You know? Let me learn the lessons you have hidden in every leaf and rock. And the songs today, the same way. They just came when I needed them and knew they were the ones to use for today. And this next one, who I shared this memory with a dear friend, the opportunity I had to see Robin Wall Kimmerer was just a few weeks prior to me speaking. And just all these things together, are they coincidences? Maybe. But I'll tell you, that night that we went to see Robin Wall Kimmerer, she was speaking over at Smith, there were so many messages that came that it was beyond clear we were meant to be there that night and end up with front row seats in a fully packed house. And it was just on and on and on. It was meant to be. So these are all examples of just what I've been talking about. Do not miss the opportunities that the universe puts out to you, literally, directly in your path. Be mindful of all that is presented to you. Listen, feel, smell, taste. Watch what comes to you and let your senses guide you and fill your soul.